Hi, this is Mike, and we're going to go over one of the most basic strumming patterns that's used in pop rock and folk guitar. And what I'm going to do is show you step by step how the pattern is strummed, and then I'll show you an example of it in action. So we'll start off with a G chord, and what we'll do is we want to rest our hand and keep it on the guitar pick guard down here so that it lives right down here like this. We want to cock our wrist upward with the pick firmly between the index finger and the thumb, and rest it on the very the sixth string actually, and then we're going to strum down one time, nice and smoothly. And what we're going to do is step by step go through and build on until we have the complete strum pattern ready to play. And so secondly, we're going to strum, after we strum down once, we're going to strum again down one time. And on the second time that we strum down, we're going to take our pick and brush it through all the strings back up. So what that will sound like is down once, bring the hand up and down again through the strings, and then bring the pick. You can tilt the pick so it goes through the strings without sticking, a little bit of an angle, and stroke it up like so. So this is the first segment. We'll try it again. Down, down, up. Next we're going to learn the second half of the strum pattern, and that will be basically one strum up and down and up. So we're going to combine the two patterns, and we'll go over them again. First, the first half of the strum pattern is down, down, up, and the second half is up, down, up. We want them to sound all together as one complete pattern. So we'll just continue on to the second pattern from the first. So it's down, down, up. And we're going to drop our hand and do the second half of the pattern. Up, down, up. So now we want to just play it as all one complete pattern. So we're going to play it down, down, up. And the key to playing this pattern is to get comfortable with dropping your hand in between these two parts of this strumming pattern. So the first part, down, down, up, drop the hand, and then play the second half, up, down, up. Once you get strumming on a continuous pattern over and over again, you will start to feel the rhythm of the actual strumming pattern. It will sound like this. And to create a continuous rhythm sound, you want to basically start the pattern over immediately after you finish through the pattern one time. So basically when you strum through it, you focus on playing the pattern, and right when the second half of your pattern is done, you want to start the pattern over again without stopping. So it'll sound like this. Once we have our basic strum pattern down, we want to practice strumming from one chord to another, and we want to start on each chord as a beginning of the strum pattern. So if we're changing from G to D, we would strum, for this example, one time on G with the strum pattern. And then we want to play D. We want to come down with the strum pattern on the first beat of the next measure with the open fourth string D note into the pattern. So basically from G, complete the pattern, and we think ahead to the D before we finish our strum. So it would go like this. D. Then you want to come right down on the shape of the D and come right down on the strum pattern on the open D fourth string and strum the pattern immediately after the G. So to create the rhythm and the change of each chord, you want to keep the strum pattern continuously playing. And think of the next chord as you just before you finish your pattern, and come into the pattern of the next chord, pressing down on the chord formation. And all these first position chords don't all strum, you don't strum all the strings on each chord. G, you strum all the strings. D, you just strum from the open D through. The chord F, you don't want to strum through the, it doesn't sound very good if you strum through all 6 strings. You're just playing a basic F, you want to strum just the last 4 strings. Unless you want a bass note in it, you can put the 5th string in it. And so every chord has either all the strings or not all the strings, depending on the chord. And so once you get familiar with all the different chords and where they're strummed, how many strings you're using to formulate the chord, then you want to practice changing from one chord to another, using the strum pattern, and practice the rhythm. Practice feeling the rhythm of the strum. And I'm going to show you a little example of practicing that rhythm. If you practice on emphasizing on the downbeat on the first down strum of the strum pattern, then you will establish staying within the measure of each chord. So if I'm playing a chord progression that starts with a D and then it goes to an A and then it goes to an E, I'm going to emphasize the first strum of the strum pattern as my 1, counting the measure. If I continually emphasize the 1, I will stay within each measure and continually playing the strum pattern, and I will have a smooth sounding rhythm. I hope you got something out of that strumming pattern that will be helpful to you. I'm going to close out with a little strumming pattern that I like to play once in a while, and has kind of a country feel to it. And it goes like this.